Tonight on SRU Nightly News, an upcoming meeting with the EPA and Zelienople about concerns of pollution in the air. 2 women in Lawrence County are facing charges on gun violations and possession of drugs. Grove City Middle School taking action on a threat that happened through a video game, and a bomb threat at the Clearview McDonald's. All this and more on SRU Nightly News. News. I'm Brandon Pierce. We start our show off tonight with information about an upcoming meeting that will be held by the Environmental Protection Agency for the residents of Zelienople. The EPA plans to discuss a greater risk of cancer to the area after a study found higher levels of ethylene oxide, or ETO, pollution in the air. The EPA found that the medical sterilization company, American Contract Systems, is currently emitting concerning levels of ETO. According to the study, if 1 million people were exposed to the gas for 24 hours a day for 70 years, 100 people would be expected to develop cancer from that exposure. The EPA says that they will be reviewing controls on regulated equipment and processes that emit ETO to determine whether additional air pollution controls are needed. In the meantime, residents of Zelienople are encouraged to attend the virtual meeting on February 2nd. To register for the meeting, you can scan the QR code on your screen. Two Lawrence County women are facing several charges in relation to gun violations, possession with the intent to sell, along with possession of drug paraphernalia. Courtney Johnson and Kelsey Parks were the center of 2 coordinated search warrants within Lawrence County. According to police, the search turned up suspected fentanyl, cocaine, several guns, and suspected crack cocaine. All of the drug paraphernalia confiscated during both raids amounted to approximately 228.8 grams. The Lawrence County District Attorney's Office also detailed that over $12,000 was confiscated in total in connection to both raids. The investigation was led by the Union Township Police Department in conjunction with the Office of the Pennsylvania Attorney General. On January 19th, Grove City Middle School had to shift to a remote learning day after a threat was made against the school. The school district sent out 3 communications to the community in regard to the threat and closure for Grove City Middle School. The first communication to the district was sent out at 6 a.m. It read, "Grove City area middle school students will have a remote learning day today. Middle school students should not report to the building and are expected to check their Google email by 9 a.m. to receive a message from the principal that will provide instructions for their participation in remote flexible instruction. This does not impact Hillview Elementary or Grove City High School students. All middle school faculty and staff are to report to the building on time." In a follow-up communication, the superintendent recorded a message sent out by phone to the community explaining a threat made through an online gaming site, saying, quote, "Safety is our main priority, and out of an abundance of caution, the Grove City Middle School will operate through remote instruction while administration continues to work with the Pennsylvania State Police to thoroughly investigate the issue." According to Grove City Police, an underage student threatened to bring a gun to school, threatening to shoot a fellow student. The alleged teen who made the threat was identified and is facing charges. On January 22nd, employees at the McDonald's at the Clearview Mall in Butler received a scare when an anonymous caller told the answering employee that there was a bomb in the building. According to police, the call came at 5:03 a.m. Passerbys at the location were alerted to something going on by the presence of a large group of state trooper vehicles. The McDonald's location reopened later in the afternoon on the same day. Police say that the investigation is still ongoing. When we return, inmates escaped from the sheriff's office in Butler County, and Supreme Court Justice Deborah Todd was installed as the first woman Chief Justice of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court.
Hi, I'm Rob Disman, and I'm the owner of your local Domino's Slippery Rock. I started out with Domino's as a delivery driver when I was in college. Ended up really liking the job. Worked my way up through management to the supervisor. I did that for about 10 years. My family, we decided that we couldn't really go any further with that, so we decided to go ahead and become a franchisee with Domino's. I'm lucky enough to have enough community support that most customers have become more than just customers, they're more like friends. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this community for 20 years, and I look forward to many more years.
Welcome back. The Sheriff's Office in Butler County, Ohio, assisted with the capturing of 4 escaped inmates over the weekend. Aaron Wade Sebastian, Kelly McShawn, Dakota Pace, and Lou Juan Tucker had escaped from a Minnesota detention center on Tuesday, January 17th. 3 of the men were originally incarcerated due to sex-related crimes. The inmates were able to escape the St. Francis County Detention Center from the roof and got away in a stolen van in the medical building parking lot. It wasn't until Friday that state troopers in Ohio pulled the van over for a routine traffic stop around 7:30 p.m. The inmates attempted to escape on foot, but 2 were quickly taken into custody. A 3rd inmate was arrested in Westchester Township around 2 a.m. on Saturday, and a 4th was found at 9 a.m. All 4 inmates are currently in custody in the Butler County Jail. History was made on Friday, January 21st, as Supreme Court Justice Deborah Todd was installed as the first woman Chief Justice of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court.
This is the first time in Pennsylvania history that a proud daughter of a steelworker is being sworn into office as Chief Justice of Pennsylvania by the proud daughter of a coal miner. Please place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Deborah McCloskey Todd,
I, Deborah McCloskey Todd,
do solemnly swear that I will obey, protect, and defend
that I will obey, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
as Chief Justice of Pennsylvania.
As Chief Justice of Pennsylvania.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Todd, a graduate of Pitt Law, was elected to the Supreme Court in 2007 after nearly a decade of service on the Superior Court. In her speech, Chief Justice Todd shared that she was, quote, full of joy, and asked that the woman who paved the way for herself and others in government to be remembered for what they made possible. Prior to her swearing in, the Chief Justice administered Governor Josh Shapiro his oath of office. China has announced that roughly 80% of its population has been infected with COVID-19 since the country removed restrictions in December. Experts say that equates to more than 1 billion of Chinese citizens were infected. Deaths are mounting at such high speed that coffin makers have had difficulty keeping them stocked. As we previously reported, crematoriums too have been having difficulty keeping up with the mounting deaths. While China has reported deaths somewhere near 60,000 people, we may never truly know the real number. The deaths that have been reported are coming from hospitals. However, there are smaller rural areas and villages that do not have the same medical resources as the larger cities. Many of the deaths that are happening at home are not being counted or reported. Our thoughts go to all those who are experiencing loss at this tragic time. The search for classified documents at President Biden's home continued over the weekend. The FBI retrieved several more pages of classified documents dating to Biden's vice presidential days. while Biden's lawyers continue to stress the president's cooperation with the investigation. As more documents are discovered, the questions only continue to mount. How did the documents get there? Why were they still in Biden's possession so many years later? Who had access to see these documents and questions? As this investigation has been unfolding, the White House has continued to downplay the seriousness of the situation. However, even some Democrats are starting to criticize the president's handling of the situation. The scandal does not come at a good time for the president, as it has continued to distract from the success of the administration and has opened the door for criticism from the Republican-led House. A comet known as C-2002-E3 is currently visible by telescope and binoculars. The comet was discovered in March of 2022 after the Zwicky Transient Facility on Palomar Mountain in California. At the time, astronomers say the comet was on the inside of Jupiter's orbit. This will be the first time in 10,000 years since the comet last approached Earth. People looking to the night sky without telescopes or binoculars will have their best look at the comet on February 1st and 2nd. Astronomers say it will be distinguishable by its green color and the ion dust tail that will drag behind it. If weather permits, this is something you're going to want to check out. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Coming up, an interview with the incoming Slippery Rock University president, Dr. Karen Riley.
Hi, I'm Rob Disman, and I'm the owner of your local Domino's Slippery Rock. I started out with Domino's as a delivery driver when I was in college. Ended up really liking the job. Worked my way up through management to the supervisor. I did that for about 10 years. My family, we decided that we couldn't really go any further with that, so we decided to go ahead and become a franchisee with Domino's. I'm lucky enough to have enough community support that most customers have become more than just customers, they're more like friends. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this community for 20 years, and I look forward to many more years.
Welcome back. This past week, I had the pleasure to talk with the newly chosen SRU president, Dr. Karen Riley, to hear about her background, experiences in higher education, her main goals once she starts her term at SRU, and a little bit about the transition process that will take place as the presidency passes from Riley's predecessor, Dr. William Berry. What are some of your goals that you have for SRU once you start your term here?
First of all, I need to make sure that I really listen and learn, right? I have ideas, but I think it's the first thing is to make sure that I have a good understanding of what truly is going on. So I am starting meetings with the current president on Friday. I've had several conversations with him already and want to have as much information and knowledge by July 1st as I possibly can. Clearly, I want to be able to hit the ground running. And people have been there a lot longer than I have. And so they have an understanding of what's going on there. They understand how things work, perhaps have some ideas. So I definitely want to be listening.
For the complete interview, feel free to navigate to the WSRU-TV YouTube channel and watch it there. Coming up, are you looking for some fun activities to go to on campus? We have some exciting ones for you.
Hi, I'm Rob Disman, and I'm the owner of your local Domino's Slippery Rock. I started out with Domino's as a delivery driver when I was in college. Ended up really liking the job. Worked my way up through management to the supervisor. I did that for about 10 years. My family, we decided that we couldn't really go any further with that, so we decided to go ahead and become a franchisee with Domino's. I'm lucky enough to have enough community support that most customers have become more than just customers, they're more like friends. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this community for 20 years, and I look forward to many more years.
Welcome back. If you are thinking of going Greek, fraternity and sorority life, the Infraternity Council and Panhellenic Council are hosting meetings for the Greeks. Come and meet the fraternities and sororities on campus and get to know them. Meet the Greeks will take place Thursday, January 26th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. in the Smith Student Center in room 322 on the 3rd floor. If you're already feeling stressed about the semester, come check out Doggy De-Stress, hosted by Boost Peer Coaching. While there, you can hang out and learn how to handle and prevent stressors while petting some of our furry friends. Doggy De-Stress will take place on Thursday, January 26th from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. in the Smith Student Center in room 322 on the 3rd floor. Do you like music and game shows? Then you should come to the Tunes for St. Jude, hosted by St. Jude Up Till 2. It's a Music Jeopardy night open to all students. Teams of students will compete against each other in answering timed questions based on music, artist, and fun facts. There will also be food, drinks, and prizes. Tunes for St. Jude will take place on Thursday, January 26th from 6 o'clock to 9:30 p.m. in the Smith Student Center Ballroom. On Friday, January 27th, Rock the Weekend and WSRU-FM are hosting a silent glow party. Join them for an interaction experience where the DJs tailor the party to what you want to hear. Make sure to bring your phone, headphones, and download the WSRU-FM app. This also come dressed in your best glow party gear. The silent glow party will take place in the Smith Student Center Theater from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. Join UPB on a trip to PPG Paints Arena to watch the Pittsburgh Penguins take on the San Jose Sharks on Saturday, January 28th at 7 o'clock p.m. You are able to purchase your tickets at sru.universitytickets.com. Make sure to get them soon because they are limited. Are you an avid movie fan? Slippery Rock Film Society is hosting Movie Trivia Night. Come test your cinema knowledge from Disney films to slasher films. The questions will include a variety of genres. There will be some free snacks and the chance to meet new people and learn more about the Film Society. The event will take place on Wednesday, February 1st, 2023 from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. in the Eisenberg Classroom Building, room 117. If you are interested in taking part, come in teams of 3 to 6. Individuals and pairs will be sorted into teams. Coming up, Slippery Rock University Coach McGraw is honored with a scholarship in his name after his passing for student athletes.
Hi, I'm Rob Disman, and I'm the owner of your local Domino's Slippery Rock. I started out with Domino's as a delivery driver when I was in college, ended up really liking the job, worked my way up through management to the supervisor. I did that for about 10 years. My family, we decided that we couldn't really go any further with that, so we decided to go ahead and become a franchisee with Domino's. I'm lucky enough to have enough community support that most customers have become more than just customers, they're more like friends. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this community for 20 years, and I look forward to many more years.
Devastating loss when our head coach for the girls basketball team suddenly passed away at the age of 50. Coach McGraw was well known to student athletes. At the time of his death, athletic directors, biggest fan of our student athletes in all sports. On Wednesday, January 18th, a celebration of life was held for Coach McGraw during the home doubleheader against Edinburgh. During the celebration, the Bobby McGraw Memorial Scholarship was announced. Members of Coach McGraw's family were in attendance for the celebration. His son served as an honorary coach for the games. We had an opportunity to talk with the men's basketball coach, Ian Grady, about the scholarship.
No, I think the scholarship in Coach McGraw's name was an excellent idea. Great way to honor him and his life, and obviously the service that he brought to Slippery Rock University for however long. I guess it was 10 or 12 years, I think. But so I think that was great. It was good to see it, have his family there and be honored at halftime. And obviously his son Reed was there, who's been around. He's, a great young man, always fun to be around. He always has a good time. He comes and sits on our bench as well, and visits with the team in the locker room. So it's good to see him and good to see that he's doing well, because I know how difficult that must be. So a little bit on Coach McGraw. Met him. I want to say it was 2012. I want to say, and just first impression of him was great. Just a nice guy, genuine, very kind. Went out of his way to help in any way he could. And the cliche is he would give someone the shirt off his back, and I kind of found that to be true when talking about Bobby. So miss him greatly. He's always very energetic and fiery and passionate in everything that he did, even everyday life. So yeah, I just miss him here on the day-to-day basis, really, just interacting with him at work and those type things. And obviously it's just a sad tragedy, but I'm glad that SRU is remembering him in this way.
The scholarship was kicked off with a $1,000 donation from Slippery Rock's Adidas supplier, Sports Locker. Donations are currently being accepted, along with the opportunity to purchase an Adidas long-sleeve tee with the inscription on the back, "Do it for McGraw." All proceeds of the shirt will go to the scholarship. And that's all we have for you tonight, Slippery Rock. I'm Brandon Pierce. Have a great evening, SRU.